Boom, 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 boom. Gloves, gloves, gloves. Need my gloves. Where are my gloves? Running low. Better get another box. Hey, Greg. Ah, Mr. Chris. Thought you'd be asleep by now, you know? You old people need to get your precious sleep. Can't be staying up too late. Every stream's new camera angle. Well, you know, gotta mix it up a little. It's because the camera keeps changing when I move it around. This is interesting. I haven't seen these before. Anyone else seen these? I always thought they looked a bit different. I thought they were a bit shorter and broader. Wouldn't be surprised if that's not real either. Oh well. Alrighty. Yeah, you're in bed currently, you know, now that's just going to disturb me. Alright, anyway, let's get to the point here. Customers bought this into me, this genuine eBay iPhone 4 and, you know, complete with proper sticker and whatnot on the back. But it's primarily come in because it's got a crack across the screen, but the person says it's not charging anymore. And when they do plug it in, it comes up the iTunes, connect to iTunes issue. So when they said it's an eBay genuine special, I thought, yeah, okay, it's going to be fake. So, but they said, but it came in a shrink wrap box and it looks real. Look, it's legit. And I'm like, yeah, you know, anyone can get these boxes and shrink wrap them. Hot air gun and some shrink wrap. Well, it's an Australian plug. Let's see if you look at the plug. Where we go. This is Australian. So it's got the sad eyes. I suppose you can do it the other way around. Yeah. The big thing on here is that it's got no partial pull-out protection there. I'll try and find something else around here that's got partial pull-out protection. Because you want protection if you're only going to partially pull out. Let's see. Oh, here we go. This is a clone, but that white covering, you can see that's what Australian devices like this should have. You know, we've phased out the old full contact pins for low current devices. Obviously, if you want the full 10 amps or 15 amps, and then you need the full length contact. 26 Voxeril 4S. I have my doubts. I mean, look at this. This has got. Can you see that? Yeah. It's even got proper gangster style 45-degree home button type shooting. You know, it's like got to shoot on the side, bro. Yeah. Anyway, well, screws are out. And there we go. Oh, look, we've got a non-genuine print there. We've got a genuine, non-genuine camera lens fallout. I think the biggest thing that immediately strikes me here is that the Wi-Fi chip is a bit strange. I mean, ignoring the fact that that's been messed with, something severe. We've got some Chinese writing here. We've got screws missing there. Yeah. We've got a screw missing in the corner. No, this is a real cluster of joy. Hey, Jonathan. iPhone 6 will show Apple logo for about a minute and then turn off, won't loop. I had one doing that the other day and I cannot remember now what it was. I don't think I solved it. Yeah, I can't remember what that one was. Let's have a closer look at this thing. Man, I need to get the new. Let's switch screens. Yeah, how's that for a Wi-Fi? That looks just weird, the colour alone. I mean, maybe they do get them like that, but it's more of a white colour in real life. So we've got a missing screw there. Missing screw there. What the... We've got some sort of mash-up going on down in here. That doesn't look right. Yee 17. And this, what happened to the top? And there's your other missing screw. We've got no QR code or data code there. I don't know what this says. Probably says tough luck, sucker. What's coming out of there? Something's going. I probably shouldn't stick my. That's fake. What? I'm missing the screw there. That's a good way to save money. We've got a tear on the battery here. Yeah, this is going to be fun. This one's loose. We've got solder there, missing solder there. So obviously all this has come off, and they've. I guess this is. I don't know. Would it be a stolen phone, and then they've redone the memory or something? I'm not sure. Are you loose? No. Oh, you're actually done up, but you're off. No, you're not. You're loose, but you're off center. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I mean aftermarket parts. Anything that's not Apple is fake, man. It's fake. Alright, let's get this out of the way and switch back. Start pulling this thing apart. I mean, yeah, it's not obviously Android in an iPhone case. So let's see how far the craziness goes in this. Then why would they have had these shields off? I suppose maybe they're repairing something. Get this battery out first. Let's see, you're 1.7, you're 1.5. There's no pull tab, the battery just floats. They didn't even bother to change the sticker on that. It's it was manufactured in February this year. It's not that old. Plug it in and see what happens. I'm gonna find my connector. They have virtual parts, not really there, yeah. Chris, I'm just trying to stop Apple coming along and kicking my door in. I've got to keep up the appearances. Just got to get my cables. The person did have another iPhone 4S with a good screen, and they wanted me to swap it out and put it on this one. And I said to him, no. I said it's cheaper for me to just install a new good one, because the labour charges involved cost more than the screen is worth. Okay, so we've got an Apple boot. wonder if it's just their power brick. That's a disaster. I guess we'll see. Shallow and pedantic. Now, some people would say you're cheap, Chris, because you use a Yeehaw hot air station. Oh, was that a boot loop? Of course it's a boot loop. You know why it's a boot loop? Because I don't have the battery plugged in. Welcome to YouTube live streaming, where you're guaranteed to lose a good 30 to 50 points of IQ. Because you're too busy trying to come up with interesting commentary. Let's try that again. What do we got? And it's still boot looping, so... Well, that could still be a dead battery. Let's put it on the power supply. I gotta clean up this workshop again. I mean, I cleaned it last month. What more does it want from me? Okay. Okay. I've got no current on start, so that's good. Let's see how we go. Booty loops. Oh yeah, that's right. AOE. I always forget. Mine's also a AOE. It's just that I've got a nicer looking front panel on mine. I've got a more serious black and gold look rather than the cheap nasty silver. It doesn't look like it's looping. We're sitting at 470, 440. This will probably go through, I think. So I wonder what happened to this poor battery if that's the case. It hasn't swollen or anything. There we go. So we just got a bad battery in this. That all works. Yeah, no SIM card, whatever. General, about... Does it have an IMEI? Yes, it does. No, it looks legit. Put an OLED on yours and be like JVC. Yeah, I should do that. I've contemplated what the possibility of building my own, what do you call it, presets onto it would be like. I haven't looked into it to find out, to be honest, but I'm kind of curious. Yeah, why is it no matter, if you've got a shiny surface, no matter where you put the light or the device, the lights always reflect into it. Yeah, cheap-ass battery. Well, I'll go get one of my less cheap-ass batteries. Once again, in the other room. I need to move my stock into here. Boom, boom, boom. May as well get a sticker for it while I'm here. Battery sticker. And I suppose the person wants a screen. Yeah. Now I'm going to have to quote them for this. Something like $1 billion or something. That's still pretty crazy how messed up that board is. Okay, we'll turn it off properly. There we go. Oh, the battery status filter. Though if it was a battery status filter with this DC power supply would have worked because it has it does have a gas gauge on it. Right. I should probably put the missing screws in as well. Go get my box of iPhone 4S bits. Right. Now this is probably being pedantic. What? I thought that had stuff in it. No. I need to do this sort of thing with iPhone Euro 1.2. I need to do this sort of thing with the other iPhones, the 5s, 5C, all that sort of stuff. But the trouble is, I need a much bigger set of cells. Oh, come on, stupid chair. Don't do that. Come on, up, up. Right. Now this is me being pedantic. Did you not get the screw in there because maybe you were threaded out? I think that corner might actually be lacking thread. It's been stripped out. Alright, we've got a battery. Hey, Textralian. Yeah, Greg, got the tape. Now, I don't know if these are much better, these batteries, but at least I can always send these back to my supplier. And this was produced in April this year. So let's have a look, see if we're any better off. One thing I do need to talk to my supplier about is they've lately been sending me iPhone 5S batteries for when I want an iPhone 5C battery. And there's not much of a difference between the S and the C, except the C is fractionally narrower and less capacity. And if you try to jam a 5S battery into a C chassis, it doesn't always work. And sometimes you get too much pressure on the sides of the phone. Yeah, if you try it with a 5S battery, you usually end up jamming up against here a little bit too tight or down here. It's a bit of a nuisance. It's only about 2 mil difference, but it's enough. But they just keep saying to me, no, man, it's all good. 5 and C and S, they're the same, man. Put all your screws in one bag and then dig for it. Well, mostly because sometimes you're not sure if you want that 1.7 or a 1.5, or just easier if they're all sorted. Alright, that looks fine. Let's charge up. Yeah, no sim, very good. Very good. Okay, what have we got? And we've got a good charge rate, 860. So I'm pretty happy with that. So that solves that problem. And now I need to message a person, tell them it's going to cost them $1 billion. Let's see. Needs new battery, new screen. Total cost. Let me know if you want to proceed. Alright, that's good. Hey, Cormac. Well, it seems good other than that. Although it is saying SOS only. Is there a sim in there? I am extraordinarily disorganized at the moment. I nearly blew it this morning with a customer. There's no sim in there, so that's okay. They came in. It was for an iPhone 6 repair, and I was half asleep or something like that. I don't know. I was out of it. And I thought, okay, iPhone 6 repair, and I thought, oh, I should have got more of their details. And so I replaced the screen, and then while I'm in there fixing the screen, I'm looking at the battery, and I'm like, this battery's, it's cuck, man. So I thought I should replace it, but I thought, no, if I do that, I'm going to be presumptuous, and then the person's going to come back and say, well, I don't have the money to pay for the extra you charge me for the battery. So the person eventually comes back at the scheduled time, which is nice. Believe me, customers being punctual is a rare thing, as most of you know. And I make comment to the fact that, hey, the battery's on the way out, maybe we should get it replaced. And it's like, oh, he says, I thought I asked you to replace that last night in the chat. And I was like, oh, Lord. And yeah, sure enough, I put it all together, and I see that he did actually ask, and I quoted him on that. But the trouble is I hadn't put it onto my schedule for today, and that's why there was the slip-up. Fortunately, I managed to get that replaced in about 7 minutes, and he went away all happy and paid the normal price, so that was all good. But I just hate it when you make mistakes like that, just because you just, run off your feet or whatever. Lack of sleep, I'd say. How's the pocket lint quotient? Yeah, it should be alright. It's sitting quite flat there. There's a little bit in there. Ding dong. It's probably supposed to say no, don't touch it, throw it away, it's too expensive. Yeah, wrong person. Gee, that's weird. My phone's notifying me, but it hasn't actually received. So tomorrow when you collect. No. Phone's trying to autocorrect to something else that I can't mention. Tomorrow when you collect FPOS and credit card accepted. 2. Okay, well, we've got the go ahead for that. From PC Boxes, Cormac, are you talking about these things? Because if you can find me a supplier for these things, I'll be really happy. I did manage to find a 15 cell one, but I kind of think I need a 30 cell. So I think these are the 15 cell ones, and they are sealed. Pardon me. A lot of the trouble I have with these containers, typically, is that the ridges, the ribs, will not line up close enough to the lid. So if you happen to have it like that and you tip it over, I mean, this isn't great either. You tip it over, then the screws cross over each other into different cells, and you basically lost all your organization. Whereas with these ones, it's a really tight match. I can turn these over and they will not mix. But I've never been able to find these again. I've got about 20 of them, and that's it. I got them at a dollar store about 4 years ago. Asked them to get more in, they just end up getting me really crappy ones with the insertable bits. Alright, so we've got to go ahead to change this over. It's a bit of a waste, really. It's just one little crack across the top, but that's what they want, and that's what I'll do. They're fixing things. Oh, by the way, if anyone is watching this and wants to comment about the fact that supposedly I am lying, that the Logitech C922 will not do 1080, in Linux, then this thing is doing 1080 in Linux. Couldn't believe it. Okay, you off? You're off. Yep. So at this point now, this is going to be really boring for you guys. This is just going to be a screen swap. Oh, crikey. What now? Come on, let's come. And we'll do our best to fix up all the little defects around the place. Oh wow, they broke that spacer. They didn't have a spacer in there. Good on you guys. If you remember the 4S, there's supposed to be a little triangle spacer in there with the screw. They didn't have that in there. They just torqued it down until it chewed through the plastic underneath. I mean, I get it. These guys are fighting for their lives in terms of trying to make enough money to get enough food, whatever. No, we're going to have to cut that. Oh wow. Cash only, fair enough. What have they done here? Well, this is hardly a NAND reballing or a baseband or anything. Good old fashioned 4S screen job. I'll show you my baseband practice number 1 in a moment. And I hope you all got your little safety blankets and teddies to hold on to when I show you this thing. Because I was horrified myself what happened. You're at 3.6. Oh, there's not even the gold tang there for the camera. And this 4.8 is rusted. You're going to go straight in the bin. Yep, in the bin. And no protective rubber top. So this is being pedantic. Well, we'll fix up that gangster style home button. Well, they've even padded that out slightly. No camera guide. Yeah. This is like, what bits can we strip off? And a piece of trash there. Alright, let's have a look at the charge port. The battery spring's also missing, yes. After I've done, I'll have greyed out Wi-Fi. Oh, I hope not, World Tech Fix. I will hate you for that. I'll blame you personally. Let's have a look at this charge port. Yeah, it's not too bad. Good old corrosion in there. Oh, that's always fun. Let's see. You can make a blanket for the homeless with all that lint. That corrosion is a bit of a concern. Let's get this little speck of crap out. I should really get a can of contact cleaner, spray on contact cleaner for electronics, and hopefully that will fix up these situations. For the moment, at least, this, if I flush it out enough, it may prevent that coming back in a hurry. I'm probably going to have to suggest to him not to use that charge brick of theirs. I don't really consider it safe. Okay. Oh yeah, the baseband, alright. Let's go have a look at my baseband. The thing of horrors. If I can find it. I've probably tried to bury this already. I really have done something with it. Where did I put that? Not you, you're a 6. I had it earlier today. I was sort of crying over it a little bit. It was a good example of what happens when your frustrations get the better of you too. Oh, come on, where are you? Oh, here we go. Ah, great. Goddamn chair. Come on, up you come. I need to get a new chair. Alright, you guys ready for this? Yeah, ready for this. There we go. Nice mutilation there. I think I've probably knocked out about every single important pad there. And the primary issue that happened here was the technique of removing it. Now what I was doing was I was attempting to remove it like you would an SMC or pretty much any other non-underfilled chip. As in I was grabbing it from the side and trying to either torque it off just slowly, a bit at a time, or lift. But I realise now, if this being an underfilled chip, even though I cleared away all the edge fill, that I need to use a spatula pancake flip technique. So anyway, completely fire truck this up. And the actual chip itself, there we go. I'm not sure if that is... I get the feeling... this may not have been original. Because it's sort of like I got a mix of green and black. But the green could be the chip itself. I'm not sure. Now the reason why I have my doubts is not because I'm trying to find an excuse for myself, but rather all this here was reworked. It wasn't original. And likewise the power connector wasn't original. And the reason why it had baseband issues in the first place was there were solder balls all popping out along here, and I was getting a -1 on the iTunes when I tried to redo it. And so I'm suspecting something along here probably popped a ball, and that was the end of that. So anyway, it wasn't an important one, but it's still, you know, I could have done a better job on that for sure. And this is a good example of how completely fecked up you can do things. Jason SDS, yes. It's a shame he doesn't get to do many more live streams. I'd like to see him do a couple more. But he does a good job on the edited stuff. With this, at least I managed to get the got this connector off and the dock connector FPC without any problems. I'm just trying to find it. It's gone somewhere. But again, it might have been a case of they already had lower temperature solder on there. Who knows? Alright, let's get this 4S out of the way before I forget things and I end up another victim. Okay, that's good. What are we going to do here? Tape's all dead. So yeah, when you have stuff-ups like I did with that baseband, it makes you feel like you really perhaps shouldn't be anywhere near electronics. Maybe I should change my career path or something like that. And then I had another situation. I was doing data recovery on a hard drive, and unfortunately this hard drive was suffering what looked like a classic Western Digital slow read problem, where you can only get 64K a second out of them, and on a 1 terabyte drive that's quite a long wait. But once I tried to apply the fix, the hard drive still came up, but I couldn't get any more data off it. So I don't know whether that was just bad coincidence or whether it was legitimately something I did. So my slight mistake there was omitting to remember that when you do certain modifications with the service area and things like that, it does actually write to the hard drives. A lot of the critical information on modern hard drives is now stored on the platters. It's not stored in the non-volatile RAM or anything like that. So sometimes when you modify something to fix a bug, or what you think is a bug, it's actually working on the platters themselves, and I may have upset the head. Maybe it was just holding on by a thread or something, and then no longer comes up properly. It just times out after a while. And I have got the original data set for the service area that was there before I modified it, but it won't let me reapply it anymore. So it could have been coincidence, could have just been a fact that the heads died just as I was working on it, or it could have been another disaster. Alright, those stickers cleaned up. No. Either way, it gives your confidence a bit of a knock, and you do start questioning your existence in the industry. Ah, you little... Someone stuck you down real good. No. I'm going to get you a new home button. Aha. So 99% of the reason why this has a gangster style home button orientation is because the little key nubs around the button have actually been knocked off. Well, I shouldn't say knocked off, they just tend to break off over time anyway. Nope. I did prefer the way the iPhone 4 did its home button orientation. At least you could see, that's better. At least you could see what you were doing. Yeah, Jonathan, that's pretty much exactly what happened here. Funny thing is, if I plug it in, you can see it. It comes up, it registers, and all that sort of stuff. But you just can't read data from it. Which looks is really frustrating. In the old days, I used to always put. Well, just realised they don't even have. Oh, man, they really went all out. They put more effort into not putting things in this than if they had. The little housing rubber for the microphone down there, that's missing. Not sure if I've got one of those. Let's strip it from another one. Jonathan, what tool did you use to do the flashing? Yeah, this has got a logic board in it. Not that I care. Come on, I just want your rubber, buddy. Give me your rubber. Very good. Battling the last 3 days, the web hosting company that would not admit there is something screwed up with another website instead of blaming plain HTML only site. So what's the fault with the site? I see Lewis is going all out to get some blood for the disaster that he's been landed with. Stupid thing with Lewis's website is that, you know, it's almost halfway there. I mean, it's not as bad as some redneck 1980s website, or 1990s, I suppose. If they just were a little more consistent and yeah, I don't know. But I think it gets to a point where you've encountered so many issues with something that you just sort of want to walk away from it. It's like, that's it, it's over. Because you know that no matter what happens, you're always going to keep running back into issues. You're going to need to check that microphone when this is up and running again. Make sure it's not obstructed. Oh, what now? Ha ha, that's great. Jessa killing me about a website, about my video. So sorry, Jessa. Dun, dun, dun. Not this one, a previous one. It was one where I think WorldFix was guiding me to not pull the PMIC. It's like a horror story, watching a horror movie for those two people who knew what was going to happen. I like to know that I entertained appropriately. This is really a horrible hack job, I'm sorry. But I found that these days the laser cut replacements that they give you generally don't work too well. I need to get better ones. I mean, I do have them. So I just generally find that you put them on, they don't really do a lot. They typically let go pretty quick. Alright. Hey, Sanaka. We do... Looks like I missed a bunch here. Trinity MDR. Will you do a video of the spatula chip flip you're talking about? I guess I will. But I mean, if you watch anyone who's competent at it, like, say, Chris Long or Jess or whatever, they'll show you how it's done. Because all I'm going to show you is how it's not done. At least at this point. Oh, what's going on here? Ah, very good. I think that's the cruelest part of this particular industry is you're going to inevitably, no matter how many videos you watch and such, you're going to have some serious blind spots. And you can just hope that you don't take out people's valuable stuff too often. Preferably not at all. I think that's what kills me about the hard drive situation is I've been doing that for a long time. And then when you do have one just drop dead on you like that, it's a little bit shocking. Most decent web developers have their templates already made and it's not a big job to mock up presentation. Yeah, that's right, Cormac. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what went wrong with the whole situation, but it does sound like someone pitched it and then they just, when the changes requested were a little outside of perhaps what the template scope could do, it all just fell apart from there. Come on. Ah. I don't know why I bother hoping that the washers and side screws will work. Never do. Just take them all out. Saves your trouble later. There we go. So yeah, there's been a few people who want me to do mail-in jobs, things like that now, but I gotta tell you, unless it's a TriStar on a 5C or a 5S, maybe a 6S and a 6, sort of feeling I'm not quite really ready to jump into that deep end. I mean, I know a lot of people do it. Just, yeah, they go, oh look, I've had 2 successes, that's it, I'm in. And it's like, yeah, I'm a little bit risk adverse in that respect. Hey, Slider. Oh, Miles, sorry mate, didn't see you there. Another busy day for you. You still doing screen glass swaps and whatnot? I'm genuinely curious to see how the market goes over the next couple of years. Now that we've got the 7s and the 8, the iPhone 8s, I'm just sort of getting the feel that the windows of opportunity is starting to really close up on us. We're getting a much higher risk factor involved. The payouts are not so good. And now with Apple, of course, offering some well-priced screen replacements. God damn it. I didn't see that one there. Yeah, with Apple offering well-placed screen replacements, the only thing we've got left, of course, is how quickly we can get them done. But I get the feeling they're setting a trap around us as a general rule, and another 3 or 4 years, we're pretty much going to be out of jobs, so to speak, and that with that type of thing. Because I do think that things like data recovery, electronics repair, water damage, all that sort of thing, that's going to stick around. And the iPhone X. iPhone board, ASCII view, still trying to find someone that export the... Oh, yeah, the PCB format. I did have someone get me a simpler board file, a simpler PCB one, and it is in the right format, but I've still got to get around to decoding it. Honestly, I've sort of now decided to focus my attention more on the idea of creating our own board files, which I know sounds a little bit crazy, a little bit unrealistic, but it's not that bad. Because all we need to do is get a pretty decent layout, an overlay of parts, and then we have to obviously manually set the networks, pin numbers and things like that, but we can do that through crowdsourcing. And if you get a couple of hundred people all contributing their little bit, then we should be able to do it. The key is to make sure that the software that you use to produce, to add the data, like the network names, the pin names and all that sort of thing, it has to be as simple as possible to use. You need the people to just go to a website and go, that pin there is this, and this is the network it's on, and that's it, bada boom, bada done. If you make it any harder than that, then the project will fail. It's got to be easy. Oh, wow. You falling off there too? Great. It's missing the hold down clip that goes across the sensors there. They really did leave everything off this thing. Oh, don't make me have to take a board out just to look at this. Oh. I'm having to take a board out just so I can get that clip. Oh, miserable little clip. It's not something I normally keep in my parts bin. Come on, surely I've got to... No, you're all screwed in. I threw out a whole bunch of iPhone 4S cases and boards, and it was just like getting too much around here, so I just flushed it out. And of course, naturally now I need them, because it would have been really easy for me to get that. Nope, gonna make my life harder. I mean, I don't have to put it in there, but I'd really much rather I did. Let's stick into that. Really? Everything? So we end up having to disassemble 2 boards today. At least this one will have the... No, it doesn't. Damn. I was hoping it'd have the gold camera clip. Pretty much put iPhone off bed. Yeah, put them on hold until you get the... I agree. I've got ZXW, but I admit I don't use it that much because of the fact that I've got to boot Windows and it's a pain to use. I mean, I'm probably biased, of course, but yeah, I'm used to open board view where it's pretty quick and easy to locate the information you want, and then I've got ZXW and it's just a pain to locate everything you want. And use the interface, the lack of English. I mean, that's not their fault. We should be thankful that there even is an English version. Just across a little bit. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Get down. There. We're good? We're good. I will say having the microscope is rather handy for that sort of thing. It does make handling those small parts that are jammed in random places considerably easier. You the right one? Yeah. The reason why I'm looking down here is because there's red kind of nail polish Loctite type stuff on the lock button, which means it's obviously been replaced before, but something I used to do a lot. It would be hilarious if this was a chassis that I had once many years ago worked on, but I sincerely doubt that. I think we can play this one safely off as being a coincidence. Okay, put the spacer in like it's supposed to be there. Thank you, Miles. Enjoy. Thank you for popping in. I mean, for as much as I'm not a fan of ZXW in that it only runs on Windows, it's the whole user interface that really drives me up the wall. Like I said, there's a fair degree of bias involved in that. What now? Right, it's okay. It's a board, and fortunately I do have the little end spaces. Really, this is a bit of a restoration project in spite of the fact that it's supposedly new. I mean, I guess you could say it's newly constructed. It's sure as heck... Oh, for goodness sake. Sitting in. Okay. It's certainly not a good way of making money, I can tell you that much now. If you've got a busy schedule, then you probably don't want to be spending a bunch of time doing this sort of thing. You'd rather be spending your time on stuff that makes you money. That is the wrong screw for that position, so we're going to use the right one from our reserves. Proper standoff driver. If you haven't got one of these standoff drivers, get yourself one. They really are worth it. Unless you like to risk scratching up boards, damaging things every single time. I mean, agreeably, I've gone without one for many years, but now that I've got one, I don't want to go back to not having one. I got mine from Jason, as in Jason Gann, Lewis Rossman, Jason. He's also got the 6S socket driver as well, which you'll need if you don't already have one. What else we got here? We need... I need that camera. There we go. We go there. We'll laugh if this doesn't work when I power it up. There's a little bit of corrosion on those pins. Oops. Something. Looks like it's... What the... Chris, are you still around? What's that? Why is that done? Switch to main. Someone want to tell me what that is there for? I seem to recall working on this area once in the past, and I just can't remember why. Can't think if it's a diode or a MOSFET that normally sits there. What is in here? Just junk. It's funny, under this light, the pins that I'll concern... Oh, there it is. That's that little thing my eye was picking up on. Just this little bit of scummy dirt. Solder by the looks of it, maybe. It is interesting how the eye can pick up such things. That there looks like... Is there a part there? Yeah, there is. So I'm not sure what that there is for. I think when someone reminds me of it, I go, oh yeah, that's right. So we've got to vote for the bent filter blob. Okay, we'll see how we go with that. I'll be curious to find out. In the meantime, I'll get on with this job so that I can get on with other things afterwards. I've got a Windows 8.1 machine behind me that is possessed currently. Anytime I try to do anything with it, it just... it's possessed. So I'm going to have to do a offline recovery. No, not recovery. Virus cleanup. Okay, why are you what the hell's going on here? You are rocking because you've got junk in you. Seriously? What the flip? How the hell did you get in there? Okay, that's better. Let's transfer the compression pad. brake on it. Gotcha. This was a easy, quick bit of money in the past where you'd have people who didn't reinstall those compression foam pads, and then the person would drop their phone and they'd of course lose the display, and all it was is they'd just popped off. So you'd open it up, squish it back down, and away you go. Why does this feel wrong? Come on. Something feels very wrong here and I don't actually know why. Which makes it even more wrong. I guess the problem is when you start not doing these phones at least a couple of times a week for a long time, yeah, that's not right. That's because you're in the wrong hole. Wrong hole alert. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Magnet time. So you lose your normal muscle memory type feel for things. Like I know whenever I do an iPhone 4 now, or even worse the 3GS, at least 3GS isn't too bad, but the iPhone 4s, they often take me quite a bit longer than they used to. Two, 4.3. Put the battery sticker down. What's this? Authorized service only. Sounds fair. Alright, let's have a look. It's a no stuff short. It's normal. Except it was definitely not... Someone remove to isolate and then jump at it. Okay. See you fixing things. Yeah, well, whatever they've done, that was obviously not a factory move, that one. Because that was a good, wholesome, leaded solder blob. Don't you dare go back. I'm losing my light here at the moment. Okay. Ah, crikey, which one's which? Okay, you're the old one. You're manufactured in February. Put a secret mark on there. Nope. I don't know why I checked. It's not, what, pen's all of a sudden not going to work anymore? Really? There we go, looks like we've got one left. Crikey. Tweezers are all janked up. Thank you very much, Jessa, if you ever watched this, for that word janky. It's not a word I ever had in my vocabulary until I kept hearing it from your streams. Janky this, janky that. And I figured it was a more socially acceptable word to use than some of the other phrases. And we still have this issue to deal with. Here we go. Nope, we forgot something. Getting tired, making mistakes. Oh, wait for it to boot. You can remove it to isolate power to the Wi-Fi chip. That's possible because that was one of the things I noticed. Whoops. In here was that. Well, that's great. The adhesive isn't working. Why isn't the adhesive working? Is this Wi-Fi chip is notably odd in color. I mean, you can see it in the camera there. It's like almost white color. Not very secret now. I can't remember what's supposed to be secret. I've forgotten. Looks like I might just add more tape. See how we go. No, that is definitely not holding. Alright. We'll have to use proper tape. It pretty much illustrates why I don't bother using the laser cut pieces of tape that they give for the backside of the screen, because that's exactly what happens. Absolutely nothing. Let's see. I'm not going to use the 10mm tape on this. It's perhaps a little aggressive. But I do have 5mm tape. I'm just going to go straight over the... but not over the flex. Really don't wish to be pulling up flexes. Yes, particularly those ones. That's to the volume and mute switch, things like that. They're an absolute pain in the butt to replace. Such to the point where I'll frequently replace the whole chassis rather than bother with those. Oh, my secret marking, right, thank you. Yes, but you don't know what it said. Maybe it changes every day. I should not be using these tweezers for this sort of job. These are my favourite ones. Okay, that should bond in nicely now. Now I can put back what I actually forgot the first time. Which of course is the dock retention plate. I had one complaint about those tweezers. It's that... oh no, now you're out of alignment. The tension required to operate them is a little high for me. I have weak little muscles with my fingertips. Prefer the light touch. Okay. corn shells stuck in my teeth. They're called narcs, and they live there now. Alright, let's try that again. Get out of here. That screw that I just threw off there, that feels like a 1.9 that they use in the iPhone 4 to hold down the speaker on the left hand side. That broad head. Yeah, what's your little story? I don't know who you are, where you came from. Got a lot of iPhone boards like this where they're just accumulating here somewhere, and I don't know who owns them or anything. It's a very bad way of doing things. This is in the earlier days. Alright. Come back here. Yeah, let's see if Wi-Fi works. Oh, Wi-Fi works. It's got my network. See if it joins up. You're gonna work. And see if it synchronizes its time. It took its time. Yeah, it's picked up, it's synchronized, it's good. Okay. Alright, well, this one gets to live another day. But certainly with this... Oh, that... I don't know why mail came up then. Certainly this little charge brick, I am... Yeah, I'm going to tell him to throw that away. Especially considering you can get those fairly cheap. $19 Australian to get a proper genuine Apple one. Okay, another customer hopefully happy. And hopefully I'll make it through the night, given that I've got to deal with that possessed computer behind me. And in other boring news, I finally got myself another MacBook. This one thankfully didn't end up needing much work either. It's another A1502. The trouble is I don't know what to do with this one. So, well, look at that. It all works. Just needed to clean up and new solid state drive. I couldn't repair the old one. I don't know what's wrong with it. Yes, easy password. Doesn't matter. Very limited range, very limited access on it. It's a sort of a secure firewalled what do you call it? Sandboxed network that I let my customer machines sit on. And they can't see each other either. So, alright. Well, I think I'm done. That's it. That went a lot longer than I thought it was. It should have only been a half-hour type thing, but with all those little weird quirks, pushing it out a bit longer. Maybe I should consider that my, how could you say, my donation of the day sort of thing. Good Samaritan type fix. Oh, well. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. It's almost 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It's been a really good week this week. We've got rain every day, which is very rare out here. So hopefully we won't have too much of a brutal summer, but I suspect we still will. Thanks everyone for dropping in, and I'll catch up with you all later.